Tonight, our conversation with Chelsea Clinton. The former first daughter is out on the campaign trail in our area trying to help her mother take the critical New York primary. Then our political panel is going to weigh in about last night's debate. How will the testy tone play with the New York voter? Plus, highlights from the NAN conference. We were there and we were talking to all the power players from the world of politics and civil rights. That and much more straight ahead. Evening, everyone, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thank you very much for joining us on a very busy political Friday. The New York primary, it is now just 4 days away. And by the way, we will be live starting at 9 p.m. on primary night covering all the results. Hillary Clinton, as the polls will tell you, she's maintaining a double-digit lead over Bernie Sanders. Last night, the two of them, they teed off on each other during a debate that was quite testy in Brooklyn. Here's a recap.
In this Subway series, a battle royale on their home turf.
I love being in Brooklyn. This is great.
A statement because, excuse me.
A Brooklyn brawl.
Interesting comment, but you didn't answer the question.
I did. If that's
no,
the
you
way
didn't. I think I have the microphone.
From the stare down to the flying hands to the yelling.
I am sure a lot of people are very surprised to learn that you supported raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
You know, wait a minute.
That's just not accurate.
I have stood on the debate stage with Senator Sanders 8 prior times.
Excuse me.
I have said the exact same
Senator,
thing.
please.
The showdown starting just about as soon as they faced off.
Does Secretary Clinton have the experience and the intelligence to be a president? Of course she does. But I do question her judgment.
Senator Sanders did call me unqualified. I've been called a lot of things in my life. That was a first. The people of New York voted for me twice to be their senator from New York. And President Obama trusted my judgment enough to ask me to be Secretary of State.
Clinton also hammering down on Sanders' plan to break up the big banks, questioning whether he has details.
He could not explain how that would be done. He could not answer about Afghanistan, about Israel, about counterterrorism. I think you need to have the judgment on day one to be both president and commander-in-chief.
And she was put on the hot seat herself, refusing to commit to releasing those transcripts of her paid speeches to Wall Street firms.
It is your Democratic opponent and many Democratic voters who want to see those transcripts. It's not about the Republicans.
When everybody does it, okay, I will do it. But let's set and expect the same standard on tax returns.
Well, this much we certainly know, given their family's presence in the national limelight. The Clinton campaign, it is a family affair. Bill Clinton, he's been out on the trail, and so has Chelsea. This afternoon, I spoke with her at a campaign stop in Brooklyn. Chelsea, thank you so much for the time. We got 4 days to the primary and the debate in the very, very near rearview mirror. What'd you make of the tone last night? And what constitutes victory? Is it one more vote than Sanders, or given the home state and the expectations, do we want to hit double digits? Give me an idea how the next 4 days are going to play out.
Well, we're working hard for every vote. We're trying to connect with as many people as possible. And you can see that reflected in my family's schedules today. We're all in different places, just trying to reach as many people as we can to talk about what's at stake in this election, to talk about my mom's plans for our country, kind of what that would mean for New York, and really to hopefully help people understand how the work that she did as our senator, and I'm so proud as a New Yorker that my mom was my senator, is a pretty good harbinger of what she'll be able to do as president to make progress on all the areas where we need to.
So you're feeling good Tuesday's going to go
Well, we got to work hard. I mean, we don't take anything for granted in my family. I was raised to kind of work until the polls close, and so we're going to do that between now and when the polls close Tuesday night.
Your mom was very good to our program over the years when she first ran for senator and then for re-election and throughout. I've always said a lot of politicians, as soon as the red light goes off, they can become bears or monsters or divas, whatever. Your mother's always been the opposite, I found. And I spoke to a lot of people who said the same thing. But a lot of times it doesn't translate where people think that there's more of an automatic candidate on automaton. What would you wish the public would see that those closest to her do, and sometimes get frustrated it doesn't get conveyed through the camera lens.
Well, thank you for sharing that and for highlighting this. Probably not surprisingly, as her daughter, I've never understood kind of that disconnect, because I've always known my mom as such a warm and generous and loving person. I couldn't imagine a more supportive, caring person. Right? No, absolutely. That's why I say I have this disconnect, because nothing in my, I'm 36, nothing in my 36 years of life kind of ladders up to that public perception. In fact, it's been just so fundamentally the opposite. Now, kind of being so blessed to be the mother of her granddaughter, and I didn't know one of the gifts that Charlotte would give me was seeing my parents as grandparents. I mean, because I watch her with my daughter, and she reads to her, she sings to her, she cuddles with her. She lights up when she sees Charlotte. Charlotte lights up when she sees her grandma. And I wish that more people could see that just instinctual, immediate warmth and connection that she has with her granddaughter, but really, I think, with anyone she meets, but particularly children.
I've heard, and you can either dispel it or tell me it's accurate, that it was actually a tough decision whether or not to run again. Everybody knows what happened in 2008, and after all the years in Washington and everything attached to being in the public eye, how tough of a decision was it that, in fact, she definitely was going to get back into another presidential campaign, and you as daughter and her as now a grandmother, how much would you either encourage or say, you sure you want to do this?
Well, I think my most important identity vis-a-vis my mom is as her daughter, and now as the mother of her granddaughter. And so certainly it was a long decision. My mom thought long and hard about what she wanted for our country, our future, what she wanted for all the children of our country, including her grandchildren, and whether or not she believed she had the right vision and experience and skills to deliver against that vision. And ultimately she decided yes, and I'm really thankful that she did.
Nita Lowey, Congresswoman Lowey, who I know is a close friend of your mom, we interviewed her once, and she said, can you explain to me why young women are not in droves flocking to Hillary? And I said, I have no idea. But you're obviously closer to her than I am. Explain why certain constituencies she's doing great, but that youth vote, 20 to early 30s, and including with women, it hasn't broken that way. Can you give a rationale or explanation as to why?
I would never speak for someone who's supporting another candidate, so you'll have to ask kind of people that you may know in that demographic who are choosing to support my mom's Democratic opponent, or even choosing to support Republicans. But I hope that as people continue to listen to what the candidates want to do, and also look at who has a real record of being able to deliver real change, that they'll support my mom. Because I think that someone's record is a good harbinger of what they'll be able to do. And I think my mom's the only person running for president who has a real record of delivering healthcare reform, education reform, standing up to the gun lobby, working to deliver real solutions that address climate change. And I think all of those matter to young voters, particularly those of us that are young parents. And I hope when people really think about who will be able to make a difference in their lives, they'll support my mom.
So Tuesday's going to be a good night?
Well, I hope so. We're going to work really hard.
All right, coming up next, we're going to bring the panel in. We're going to talk about the Democratic race and the nasty tone it's taken. Plus, we'll get into the other side as well. Stay with us.